And we're podcasting,
Well,
Smithy.
hello there.
Hey.
Whoa.
That's some intro music, Smithy.
That it be.
This is a perfect opportunity to explain the keys to victory.
It is.
And I think it goes a little something like this.
Follow along.
You gotta run the ball, you gotta pass the ball, you gotta take the ball away. You gotta run the ball, you gotta pass the ball, you gotta take the ball away. Except for the first play. You gotta do a better job on that first play.
Yeah. Don't throw an interception.
Oh, we are back. It is sweet, sweet Victory Tuesday.
Victory
Smithy.
Tuesdays is my favorite day of the week.
Or we're approaching Wednesday. It's pretty late here in the
my
evening.
goodness.
My co-host, my cohort.
But I must say, in the best time zone there is.
That's true. Doesn't get any better than this time zone. How about that other time zones?
Sorry, you're just not as good.
Yeah. Hey, Sergeant Grumbles is here to meow on the microphone and
He
make
agrees.
this, up this production value.
Right? It's going to
I'm
get furry.
Just going to shift him off to the side. He's going to be grumpy
Oh,
about
boy.
it. Hey, buddy. Oh, your claws are sharp. Oh,
Yep,
your claws.
there's- Yep.
Okay.
He's
All
a
right.
grabber.
And we're back. We've got a big time show in store for you, ladies and gentlemen of the fleet.
Or just that 1, 2, 3 listeners now that we have.
Yep, we've lost them all. But for the ones sticking in here, we've got a great show in store. We have 2 AAF team presidents joining us later on, Spiffy.
That is amazing.
Yeah, we did an interview with not 1, but 2, which is 25% of all of the team presidents.
Yes.
Kosha Irby from the Memphis Express called in, and of course Jeff Garner from the San Diego Fleet called in, and those guys enjoy talking to each other.
They do. You know what? But there's some decent young men.
They are upstanding members of the community,
They are.
and it was actually a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that. We will be playing that later on in the show. It was an awful lot of fun. We get into the nitty gritty. We ask some of the tough questions.
Hard hitting questions really made them think.
Yeah. And then, of course, we've got the AAF Power Round coming up, and which we will recap all of the games briefly. We're not going to go into it too much.
So don't blink.
Yep. And then we'll get into the game day experience week 2, home week 2.
Home week 2.
Overall week 3.
Yes.
Some improvements and some things that we noticed.
Hey, Joe, I got some breaking news.
Do you really?
Fleet's in first place.
Yes, sir. Fleet. First place Fleet. That sounds
First
good.
place Fleet.
I like saying
I like
that.
that.
And of course, how did we end up in that position, Smithy?
By not only scoring the most points of any teams this past weekend, but also giving up the least amount of points.
Oh, that is a combination for the ages. That earned us a player of the week. Not just on offense, but on defense, Smithy.
It did.
AAF player of the week on defense was AJ Tarpley.
Congrats.
And player of the week on offense was none other than Jaquan Gardner.
Who actually, this should be his second week in the row winning it, but I understand.
Yeah, I love Jaquan Gardner.
Me too.
I love watching that dude play. But Spiffy, I also love Terrell Watson.
I can't blame you.
That dude is also awesome to watch.
He is.
He was
a nice compliment.
Grinding it out. But I mean, not like Trent Richardson style grinding at 2.0 yards per carry. He was up there above 5.5 yards per carry.
Something
15
if not
carries.
very close to that.
Yeah, we'll get into it when we get to that game. But so we had 2 rushers, the number 1 and the number 3 overall rusher in the entire league, and Watson only missed it by like 2 or 3 yards.
Yeah, it wasn't much at all.
I think it was Ernest Johnson just barely snuck him out in Orlando.
Oh, Ernest.
Ernest. Get it right, sir.
I am sorry.
But yeah, so in the news, Smithy, so we had another kind of stupid article come out.
Pretty dumb.
Week. Darren Ravel is behind breaking it again. Of course, this is a lawsuit. We're not going to get too big into it, but so one of the Facebook users, Ethan Huselbush, asked our thoughts on the lawsuit that was announced this week that supposedly Charlie Ebersol had a non-official handshake deal partner with somebody and he is now suing Ebersol, stating that the AAF was his idea.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, good luck with that. So we were asked, what are our thoughts by the Facebook on this? And my thought is that it's just unfortunate that it has to be another negative. It's a frivolous lawsuit that if this guy was not smart enough to, upon entering into some sort of partnership with Ebersol, to get the partnership in writing, that's what you do when you partner with people.
Right.
You get the agreement down on writing and you develop something together. If you don't do that, you've got nothing to stand on.
Nothing.
No. So, I mean, again, we don't know all of the facts at this stage, but from the limited information that we've seen, it just seems like another bit of information leaked out the day after the weekend of AAF is up. And it's just unfortunate timing, and it's annoying, and it just seems frivolous and stupid.
Yeah, well, also, too, they just filed it. That doesn't mean they've been sued yet.
Yeah.
And in this country, you can sue anybody or anything for any reason.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not it has merit, that's a totally different story, which I don't think this has merit, unless there's something in writing that specifically says, or there's some proof, but, a he said thing.
Sure.
Sorry, buddy.
And of course, the source it's coming from was Darren Ravel, who went on to post another, I think for the first time ever, a non-negative AAF tweet. And it was barely non-negative.
I would say it was just neutral.
But he basically went on to say that the reports of the AAF's demise were greatly exaggerated, and then quoted the ratings numbers for week 3, which were up significantly over week 2. But what he didn't, he said the reports were of the AAF's demise were greatly exaggerated. What he meant to say, or should have said, is that his reports,
which then everybody else copied,
which everyone copied and spread like wildfire.
But also, too, going back to this lawsuit thing,
and again,
any lawyer, worth their salt, in my opinion, why would you sue an entity that is on the verge of financial collapse? It sounds like a zero-sum game. You're not going to get anything out of it.
Yeah. And Smithy, it really goes back to what we've been talking about from the very beginning, which is perception.
There you go.
Right. And what Ravel did is irreparably damaging to the AAF. I went on a work offsite this week, and people know I'm super excited at work about the AAF.
Exactly.
And 4 different people, Smithy, at different occasions came up to me and said, dude, the AAF, it's struggling, huh? Led the conversation with that.
Yeah.
Because they saw some headline that the AAF was in dire straits.
Yeah.
Didn't follow up on it. Didn't look at anything else. They saw that first headline, and I was like, dude, this is so frustrating. No. I was like, they just received $250 million in investment. How is that financially... how's that a bad thing? Crazy. So, but that's the perception, right? Yeah. And I can't help but think that story and Ravel had something to do with the attendance decline numbers.
Now you mentioning that, I'm going to say the AAF, in my opinion, has a better reason to sue Darren Dork Ravel.
Yeah.
And whoever's spreading this negativity, because that is, that's hurting. That could potentially hurt financials and obviously the attendance and all that stuff. Than this thing where this dude said that he had an agreement with Charlie Ebersol.
And surprisingly, like we mentioned before, the TV viewership was actually up over week 2 to week 3, and that's a really, really positive sign. I think everything really is very positive, but I can't help but feel like the attendance numbers suffered because of a bunch of the negative news and just the general perception now that exists that the league is in trouble.
Yeah.
And it still exists. People still think this if they're not following it closely, despite Darren Ravel's half-assed,
it wasn't an apology. It was not an apology.
It was not a retraction. It was not an apology. Retraction. It was a very small tweet buried amongst 20 other tweets.
Right.
That something good in the AAF happened. So that dude's the worst.
But you know what else happened that was good in the AAF?
Yes.
The fleet destroyed the Commanders.
Boy, did they ever, Smithy.
Boom.
Boy, did they ever. So, let's get on to the positive. Because who cares about what Darren Ravel says?
I don't.
Well, I kind of do, because it freaking makes me angry. But what does not make me angry is the fleet destroying the Commanders in every way, shape, and or form.
Except for opening
Except
plays.
for the first play, both on offense and on defense.
Right.
If this were a 2-play game, yeah, we would have lost.
I'd be bummed.
I'd be super bummed. But there's one encouraging thing about that first play, even though it was an interception. So
I
if you
want to
don't
hear
know,
this.
the first play of the game was a long bomb to none other than Nelson Spruce. Spruce. And it was intercepted because it was overthrown by Bosby. But what that told me was that Marks was trying to pick up where the Apollos left off.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the fourth quarter, the Apollos just torched the Commanders deep.
Yes, they did.
3 50-yard bombs
That hurts.
back to back to
That's
back.
gotta hurt.
And so what Martz did right off the bat is like, hey, I'm just going straight
do
to it.
Yeah. Why not?
Straight to it. And honestly, even though it was an interception, I think that got in the head of the Commanders.
Right.
They're saying, uh-oh.
There we go.
Like we really need to defend this deep ball, and then we proceed to just run wild all over them all game long. And of course, we did give up the bad touchdown to McKay right after that.
You know what? 19 seconds in, we're down 8-0.
Yeah, and I was thinking, boy, this is gonna be a long day.
It'll be a long day. Oh man.
But the crowd didn't leave. They didn't get distressed. They were still in it. Gotta give a big shout out to the end zone crowd.
Yes, best end zone crowd in the AAF.
Our section, not just F19, but across the entire back section is packed, sold out. There's literally no empty seats across that whole section, and all the way back up into the plaza.
Yeah, and that goes, man, that's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people back there, and it's loud.
It is.
It's loud. We actually did cause a timeout.
Yep.
The quarterback, Woodside, said
we had problems communicating down there.
Had problems communicating because of the crowd noise and had to call a timeout in the first half. Oddly enough, and this goes to some questionable game management by the Commanders, but the Commanders, did you know that they finished with all 3 of their timeouts?
No, I didn't pay attention to that because there was another 3 in the way, and that was right before a 1 that said 31. So
yeah, but so it reminds me of the Jeff Goldberg, the reporter, who said the last time that Riley and Martz met in San Diego.
Oh, that's right.
Martz put the spanking of a lifetime on Riley.
He did.
With the Rams against the Chargers, which is when the Greatest Show on Turf was coined.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, Smithy, we got our first taste of the Greatest Show on Surf.
We do, and I like it.
Yeah.
That's a good taste.
Yeah, I mean, we had said that before, but I think we actually saw it.
Now we have the pudding with the proof.
Yeah. Great game.
Awesome game. Hopefully this is the real team we're seeing.
Yeah.
And just not an anomaly.
I think what you're seeing is the Mike Martz offense and the Marmy defense with a couple of game tapes to study.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just seeing the coaching staff really take hold of the teams at this point. And I think right now is when the good teams are going to separate themselves from the bad teams.
Yeah, I think this is the part of the season that now we're going to, everything's going to come to the surface, I guess, for the lack of a better word.
And I'm just going to say, I think we full on exposed the Commanders.
We did. Almost, good thing they didn't get arrested for exposing themselves.
We'll see what happens. Now, the Commander podcast did accept our challenge.
The SA Command Post.
SA Command Post. They did accept our challenge. They did kind of call us out for not making a wager on this game and not making a wager on the first game. Because they're like, it's even now, and so therefore they shouldn't have to pay up. And I'm like, yeah, but every week's a new week.
Yeah.
You wager one. If anything, you guys were the favorites going into this game.
Oh, totally.
And we threw it out there. So suck it up, boys.
Yeah. So that's just how the cookie crumbles.
But no, they did promise to deliver a glowing, beautiful intro. And if you've heard the intro to their podcast, there's some production going on there.
There is.
There is every sound effect in the book.
Yeah, you thought the Oscars was good.
You think our intro song and us singing is good.
Wait till you hear theirs.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yes, sir. What?
I got to give you some credit, Joe.
Me.
Because I think you called out something before the game, making a little prediction.
I did. I made in the parking lot. I made one. that we'll talk about, but I did call out Spruce.
You did.
As being the key to this game.
You did.
And I was correct. Spruce was the key to this game. 2 touchdowns, 50 yards. I think that opening play to Spruce, even though it was an interception, played a big part in the mindset of going forward.
Right.
But Spruce was the key. Spruce was clutch. He came down with 2 touchdowns. First 2 passing touchdowns in Fleet history.
That's right.
And but yes, it was all Spruce all day, and I totally called that, and I'll remind everybody of that. I'm not ashamed,
Not a bit.
but the other prediction that we made out in the parking lot, as I said, Smithy, I wouldn't be surprised if we had 200-yard rushers.
Oh yeah, and I was all with you on that
Yeah.
one. I'm like, I would be more shocked if it didn't happen.
Yeah, and we were very close to that prediction.
Super close.
Of course, Gardner had 122, and Watson had 73.
73 or 72.
Yeah,
something like that.
somewhere in the neighborhood, but
Still almost 200 yards.
very close. We did have over 200 total rushing yards if you
Correct.
factor Nelson into the mix. But I mean, just a great showing. I could not be happier.
Pretty much in all facets of the game, except for that first play.
Yeah. And I think we are kind of getting into the game, the Fleet game recap first. We were planning on doing the AAF Power round first.
Right.
But let's go through. Let's take a look at around the league.
Mix it up around the
Mix
league.
it up. Let's get into the AAF Power round. Now, Smithy.
Yeah.
First up, we've got the Arizona Hotshots versus the Salt Lake Stallions.
Oh, with an upset.
Ooh, an upset on our hands, Smith. 23-15, the Salt Lake take out the Hotshots. I did not see that one coming. I thought
Neither did
the
I.
Shit. Oh boy, the Hotshots
Silly
sure
show.
seemed like they were okay. I'll
sure
just move
were.
on. I'll move along. Next up, Smithy, we had the Orlando Apollos versus the Memphis Express.
Almost another upset.
Almost another upset. The Memphis Express come on strong
They did.
with Mettenberger getting back into the mix there.
Makes you wonder.
Metten bacon cheese.
Nice juicy
burger.
cheesy burger.
Hitting up that second half for plenty of points. Almost sneaking out the win. We'll
it
see
closer.
how that stacks up against the Fleet this week, Smith.
And that awesome defense.
Next up, we've got the Atlanta Legends versus the Birmingham Iron.
Taking another
No
one on the
surprise
chin.
here. No surprise
None.
here. The
None.
Birmingham Iron soundly defeated the Atlanta Legends. Coaching carousel of turmoil going on. They lost yet another coach this week.
Ooh.
Can't help but feel for the Atlanta Legends. I hope they somehow turn it around and sneak out a couple wins. Just want to see them get some positives this week.
Yeah, some positives.
We don't play them again. Doesn't matter to me.
Nope.
Let's see them get a win.
See him win out.
Yeah. Let's see him win out. And that'll do it for the AAF Power Round. Power.
Round.
And we're done. Now, Smith, moving on to the main event. This, of course, is the San Diego Fleet versus the Commandorks of San Antonio,
San Antonio Commandors.
which we got called out for our middle schooling smack talking. But yeah. I mean, what are you going to do?
Right.
That's just us, man. Take it or leave it. The San Antonio Commandorks are here to stay. But yeah, we shellacked them, Smith.
Gave them quite the shine on their behind.
Shine on the behind. We took it to them big time.
Opened up a big old can of Texas whoop ass.
We were relentless about it, and it was glorious.
It was.
Yeah, so the crowd, so Bosby, I mentioned him earlier.
Bosby?
He did come down with that first interception of the game.
He did.
Now, our end zone section, every single time he was within earshot,
Yes.
oh my Lord, did we lay
A little
into
rough.
some Bosby.
A little rough. I'm honestly, I feel a little bad. I do.
Look, if you've ever gone with me to a hockey game, you know I love to heckle. And you have not. We need to correct that. I love heckling at hockey games. I love getting my entire section. We just find a guy, and whatever name is the funnest
Right.
to say, we find him and we heckle him. And for some reason, hockey, it's just, they never look at you. They just brush it off. It's one thing.
Right.
Bosby, on the other hand, our whole section, I didn't start this, by the way.
yeah.
None of us did, but we certainly joined in.
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, I did.
That's just.
But anyway, so Bosby got himself some chance.
He did.
And I was really sincerely, and I had gotten the rest of the section on board. I was really hoping that we would get to see Bosby one more time before the end of the game, so that we could do an apology chant for laying into Bosby.
Which I would have been a participant of.
That would have been great. That would have been classic. But he heard the chanting, and he would look. I mean,
he turned
right
around
at us,
and he's like,
he was like looking right in my eyes, and I'm like, I am so sorry. You seem like a wonderful person.
You do, and you're taking it well.
He is taking it well. He's a good sport about it. But the crowd, nonetheless, we laid into some Woodside. Listen, hey, we're there to cheer for our team.
I'm going to admit the worst thing I've done so far at a game is at the Atlanta Legends game, where I kept saying, your uniforms still suck.
I don't even remember. I don't remember a lot about the Atlanta Legends game, but that's another story. So anyways, it was a great game. The crowd was super, super into it. Long story short, the crowd was super into it. Yep. We got into their heads.
We did.
Yeah. We got into their heads. We definitely did. And, but yeah, the running game, outstanding. The passing game, it was there. After that first initial interception, 17 for 25, 193 points. Very efficient game from Philip Nelson.
193 points. That's impressive.
I mean, sorry, 193 yards.
No, I'm messing with you. Yeah. But no, I mean, after the first 19 seconds of the game, it was all fleet.
Yeah.
On offense, defense, special teams.
Yeah. And so one of the main things that stood out to me that was really telling about the Commanders going forward was that goal line stand down in the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter. They're down by 20 points. It was 4th and 4. Yep. 3rd and 4. They threw a touchdown. Cam Kelly broke up a first down touchdown pass to McKay. Correct. Then they threw almost a touchdown to one of the other guys, and it was ruled out of bounds.
Yeah, the catch was...
They called it a touchdown.
And he was clearly out of bounds.
Yeah, he was clearly out of bounds. No one's disputing that call. But now it's 4th down and 4 with 4 yards to go to score a touchdown. Correct. They're down by 20 in the fourth quarter, and Riley kicks a field goal. Yep. You just gave up, man. You're down by 3 scores in the fourth quarter, and you're kicking a field goal from 4 yards out.
Yeah, I mean, you actually, and obviously hindsight's 20/20, but at that point, you got to go for it.
You've got to go for it.
You've got to go for it. Just simply based on the fact that your offense hasn't had many opportunities to be that close to the goal line because of that San Diego defense. So you have to go for it.
You got to go for it in that scenario, and they didn't. So that was really, I was just I don't understand that play there. It's just, I don't know if Marks was in Riley's head, and at that stage he's just like, I just want to go home.
He could have had a flashback to the Rams game.
He's like, I'm just ready to go home. I'm ready to walk right on out of here. But that was very telling to me. And when that happened, I was like, oh, we got this game.
Yes,
they're done.
They're
toast.
And then to cap it off, because I think they had the last possession of the game with close to like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
run,
and they had all three of their timeouts.
Yeah,
so I'll take it, man.
I'll take it.
It was a moral beating, and they literally gave up.
Yep.
And it was awesome. We beat them mentally and physically.
Yes.
Now, it was a lot of fun. Again, I liked the week 1 game as well. That was a super close match. I felt like that was hard fought and everything. There were a lot of mistakes that week.
Goodness.
But man, are we playing a lot better than we were playing in week 1.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure after that game this past Sunday, the Commanders were like, where was this San Diego team in week 1?
Yeah.
Like, they must have felt like they got hit by a truck.
Yeah, we're getting it together, man, and it's awesome. So
a demonster.
Now that leads us to our next segment, Smithy. First, before we move on to the next section, I got to call out the tailgate, which was a lot of fun.
It was. I had a blast.
So from the Facebook group, Aaron Ramsey asks, "How about some fan shout outs?" Okay, Aaron Ramsey.
Hey, Aaron.
Buddy.
Hey, shout out to you.
Shout out to you. But the tailgate was a lot of fun. A lot of people stopped by to say hi. And we don't really do like a big formal thing. We're not doing giveaways. We're not selling anything, but just,
speaking of, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's out there. We had a guest join us for the game.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and for the life of me, I apologize. I don't remember your name, sir. I apologize. But it was great having you.
Yeah, it was. We had a guy from the tailgate just come and hang out. He sat with us. We had one open ticket. So we're like, yeah, dude, come right here. Sit with us. And a kid from high school made it out all by himself. I
took the trolley.
Feel terrible that I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Too. But he took the trolley, came out came out to see us, say hi. We had that one extra ticket because Smithy's wife was sick.
Yep.
And had himself a day.
Hope you had a blast.
Fun.
Whatever your name may be. Sorry.
Smithy, improvements over week 1. What did you notice? We had some gripes over week 1. The operations, better, worse?
Way better.
Way better.
Way better.
Yeah, last week we had a tough time getting into the stadium. This week we just walked right in. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they opened up more gates. It seemed they got the whole entrance situation figured out.
There was a lot more open.
So, yeah, no issues there. The team store seemed to flow a lot better, a lot faster as well.
And they didn't seem to run out as much stuff as last time. But that just because maybe that just people are finally catching up on the swag.
Maybe. They had a lot more inventory this time.
Yeah.
Last time, by the time we got in there, which was at halftime, almost everything was sold out.
Yeah.
Now,
one thing that stood out when we went in there this past weekend, and I don't know if they had it the previous because maybe it was just gone. They actually had like the life-size fleet helmets,
full-size helmets. Yeah,
I was
mini helmets.
I was eyeballing the full-size one.
Yeah,
yeah. I'd like to drive to work.
I'll pass till the next design iteration. I did buy a mini helmet.
You did,
but I intend on giving that away.
Oh,
that's not something I'm going to be displaying on my desk. I still have some gripes over the choice of gold and chrome on those helmets. I don't like it. Just get consistent with your yellow fleet. That's all I ask.
And those socks.
Your helmets are one color yellow, your face mask another color yellow, your jersey is another color, and your socks are another color yellow. Just settle on a yellow.
Yes, it's almost like if you're to take away all the other colors, you'd have this yellow gradient.
Yeah. But that being said, so great operationally.
Absolutely.
Better. Good stuff. No complaints on my end.
And
loved it.
The big one, the weather was way better.
And the weather.
And
the passing game.
Which I think naturally filled in the passing game.
So the weather was awesome.
Definitely not
couldn't have asked for anything better. This was San Diego weather. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, San Diego weather, it's February finest.
All right, what's next on the agenda, Spiffy?
Well, we can do one of two things.
Yes, sir.
This is up to you.
All right.
But my favorite I'm leaning towards is some nicknames.
Nicknames for the players. Yeah. I like it. Let's do it. So the topic has been going around on we need to get some nicknames for our guys. One naturally came about on Twitter in a discussion, and it just seemed to make a lot of sense, especially if you see the GIF that we put together.
Which is fantastic, by the way.
We're talking about the Nelsons here. Phil Nelson and Nelson Spruce are clearly Maverick and Goose from Top Gun.
Easy.
Not only because they look like Tom Cruise and Anthony Edwards.
Like spitting images.
Very, very, very similar. Yeah. Like almost startlingly so.
Weirdly so. Like, wait a second.
And plus Goose with Spruce is perfect. Spruce Goose.
I mean, how can you not go with that?
Yeah, I mean, we've been calling him the Swan as well. I think there's room for the Swan.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spruce Goose. Maverick and Spruce Goose.
I love it.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there. Especially now that looks like that's going to be a thing.
I love it.
Yeah, that's going to be the connection to watch on the passing game there. So the Airmen, Maverick and Goose are going to continue.
One heck of a tandem, I must say.
Heck of a tandem. Now, the nickname that we came up with the defensive front last week was the Destroyers.
I think it's pretty apt.
Pretty apt. I think that one sticks. It's good.
Yep.
DeMontre Moore, of course, is the Monster.
The Monster.
Now, he gave himself that nickname, but it's a good one. We're sticking to it.
Okay.
Yeah. No reason to stray away from that one. Now, Jaquan, Garner, and Terrell Watson.
Yeah.
We need a good one for this. We need...
the suggestion was made for Gardner.
Yeah.
The Torpedo.
The Torpedo, which I like.
Which is, yeah.
Yeah, he's low to the ground.
He is.
He's stealthy.
He is.
He sneaks right under the line.
And he blows up those defenses.
And then he blows up those defenses for
punches
touchdowns.
holes in the defense.
Watson, on the other hand, is a big old bruising bag.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I mean, he's got to be the battleship or the cruiser.
And he's got some wheels. That's why I'm leaning towards cruiser.
Cruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. The torpedo and the cruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah. But good nautical themes there. Now, Gardener, it was tough for me not to just go with some gardening puns.
I'm with you on that. I was, another nautical pun. I was rowing that same boat with you.
The rototiller.
The riding lawnmower.
The programmable sprinkler system.
The hedge trimmer.
The green. I don't know. Just because his last name is Gardner.
Yeah.
The Constant Gardener. That's a movie, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Mr. Green Thumb.
But yeah, we won't do that. We'll go with a Navy theme one, and I believe a very fitting nickname for Jaquan Gardner is the Torpedo.
Nailed it.
Plus, I can see a future Photoshop around that. That would be awesome.
It. Oh,
yeah.
No. Here we go. But you know what? I mean, and we're not purposely leaving anybody out of the defense,
no.
Especially like Soto, who is.
Man, Soto's been killing
Oh my gosh. I am so happy he's on our team.
Yeah. I mean, Barrett came down with the sack. Soto had another sack, 4 tackles, a couple tackles for loss.
And of course, let's not forget AJ Tarpley's pick 6.
Oh, AJ Tarpley's pick 6.
Oh my, that was a thing of beauty.
That was the turning point in the game.
Oh,
that's when we took the lead. It was awesome because it was right there in our end zone.
He was running right at us too.
Right at us. We're losing our minds. Man,
waving him home,
waving him on in. But yeah, so the entire defense has been extremely impressive. I liked seeing Cam Kelly go back to defense. I thought he lit it up. He was
that pass down and
really good pass defense.
And something else. Speaking of Cam, I love his enthusiasm. Even after like plays that he necessarily wasn't involved with, even though he's on the field, he always ran over to his teammates, helping them up, slapping them on the helmet. Let's go. I mean, this dude is not only, he's a spark plug, he's a cheerleader. I mean,
yeah, he's a leader.
How would you not want this guy on your team?
He's a leader on the team for sure.
Absolutely.
And he's infectious. I would say his energy spreads around that entire defense, and they're just out there for each other, and it's obvious.
It is. Yeah. It really, really is. They're gelling.
There is
really
no shortage of leadership on that defense. No. You've got Demontre Moore on the line, who I think the rest of the line is just soaking up his energy. Yep. It's obvious with Soto and that sack that he got, the devastating sack.
Oh, gosh.
And then you've got...
the only thing missing was a helmet flying off.
Yeah, that's true. His helmet stayed attached, but if it hadn't, oh, my goodness. So, and then Tarpley in the linebacking group, he's just, he's everywhere.
He is.
He's in on every play. He's fast, strong, great hands. Pulled down that interception, and then of course in the secondary you've got Kendall James, Ryan Moeller, and now Cameron Kelly, and just absolutely dominant. Shutting it down.
It is. I mean, if we call the whole defense the Destroyers, that would still fit.
Yep, I think it's very fitting.
Yep,
great group. Love the defense.
Yes,
love this defense.
And historically, great defenses bring you championships.
Win those championships, baby. And make us singing sexy falsettos.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of sexy falsettos, Spiffy, James Matthews asked, so yes, it's a 2-part question. What changed between game 1 and game 3 that led to the fleet destroying the Command Orcs? And secondarily, less of a football question, but what are your expert thoughts on the Bradley Cooper-Lady Gaga relationship rumor? Because their performance at the Oscars seemed awfully spicy to me. First, I think we talked about the difference between week 1 and week 3, and I think that was just a couple of game tapes and Mike Martz showing his coaching chops.
Yep.
And I think it is also got to do with the offensive line coming together as a group.
There you go.
Forgive me, Spiffy. I'm terrible at this. I don't remember the name, but we got a key player back in the offensive line who was not playing previously, and he was a projected starter. He's back. I don't have it in front of me right now, and I apologize to him. I feel terrible as a former offensive lineman. I wish I could shout out some specific names. I know Damian Mama has been pretty good.
He has.
But the running game, look, if you looked at Jaquan Gardner's 83-yard rip, it was a draw. It was on 3rd down and what, 3rd and 9.
Yeah.
Nice little delayed absolutely draw. Beautiful draw, and the line just opened up that hole, and off he went. It was just one of the best draws, like executed draws I've ever seen.
Kind of reminded me of that one scene in the Ten Commandments where Moses parted the Red Sea.
Yeah, and it was awesome. It was great. And if you look at the week 1 versus week 3, there was 6 sacks. Week 3, 3 sacks.
Lots of missed blocks.
Yeah, so we gave up 6 sacks in week 1. We gave up 3 sacks. Still a little bit more. I would like to get us whittle that down to 1 or 2. But still, the passing protection is much better.
But also a big difference about these 3 sacks this past weekend is these sacks didn't hurt the team.
Yeah.
They didn't come in moments where like, gosh darn it, this puts us now out of range of a field goal, or now it's 3rd and super long.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Helmet stayed attached.
Helmet stayed where they're supposed to.
Yeah. So that's got to be the biggest difference. I think the offensive linemen coming together is a huge improvement. And I also just think the team having time to learn Mart's system.
Yes.
And also Mart's figuring out what key players to use in his system.
Sometimes these things just take a little time.
Yeah. I mean, in a Mike Mart system, are you expecting 30 rush attempts?
Right.
No, but that's what he's got here.
But a good coach works with what he has.
Yeah. Now, someone else in the Facebook group asked what the situation with sorry, we don't want to gloss over the Bradley Cooper Lady Gaga question.
Yeah, this is can't leave you guys hanging.
Yeah, I mean, if I have to I would say clearly they are boning down. That's my take.
All right.
Moving on.
Well, I can't help but see Rocket Raccoon and Lady Gaga.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that exists somewhere on the internet.
Yeah, if you're a believer in the infinite universes, that's actually happening.
Scott Koenig asks, is Bishop Sankey coming back anytime off of IR? And do we even need him in the lineup with Garner and Watson doing so amazingly well? Smithy, Garner and Watson are doing incredibly well. We just alluded to that with their 30 touches. Split 50-50 pretty much. Now, so I did ask Dave Buller, is Sankey coming back? What's the status? He's eligible to return week 5. He has not been fully cleared yet.
Oh, okay.
But he could be back as early as week 5. And, man, I don't know.
I'm going to tell you, man, I don't think you can have too many good running backs.
I don't think so either. I think we'll find a way to use him.
Yeah.
It might, if I had to take a guess, I would have to say it would eat into Watson's time more than
That would be my guess as well.
Than Gardner's, and I think that's just because Sankey and Watson are more similar type of back than Gardner and Watson and Sankey are.
And that's nothing really against Watson at all. I mean,
he's been playing very well.
He has. You know what? Now you're gonna have a triple threat on running back.
Yeah. And I'm sure Martz will figure out a way to use all 3 of them.
Exactly.
And it's all going to come down to how he practices. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be some cobwebs.
Going back to camp, I think he was hobbled the whole time. Like we literally heard next to nothing about his performance in camp. So it's up in the air. I mean, my gut's telling me that he may be back week 5, but I doubt he plays week 5.
Right.
He may be suited up. He may be suited up and eased in. Because it is true. Bottom line is we just, at this stage in the game, we really aren't like hurting for another running back. So there's no reason to rush him back.
Exactly. Let's ease him in, get the cobwebs brushed off, and
and
get
then
ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, that playoff push is going to be Sankey time.
Yep.
And I am looking forward to it.
I can't wait to go to Vegas.
Yeah. All right, Smith, without any further ado, let's get to these. Let's get to the Kosha. Okay, I talked to you about this before. Sometimes as a podcaster, I realize that I mispronounce the easiest of words. I just mispronounced the word this.
I missed it.
Yeah, I said these.
These?
Anyway, let's get to the Garner and Kosha Irby interview.
Yeah.
Right now. All right, joining us on the show, the first time ever in podcast history, Smithy.
Making history.
2 presidents at one time. We've got on the line President Jeff Garner from the San Diego Fleet and President Kosha Irby from the Memphis Express.
It's like a mini Mount Rushmore of AAF.
I think I think he just booed his own intro.
He did.
Which is an interesting tactic.
Hey, man, this can't be like a 2-on-1 fast break here. It doesn't work that way. One of us has to be neutral, and he has a team. I have a team. So at least one person that has to be somewhat neutral here.
Okay, I will attempt to be neutral. Yeah, I will attempt to be that neutral. My cat has just walked into the room. He can be the voice of neutrality.
Yes.
He's meowing in the background. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us on the show, Jeff and Kosha. This all kind of spawned from a Twitter interaction where Kosha, you actually threw down and invited this meeting of the presidents live together to, I believe you wanted to talk some smack. You wanted to throw down a little bit. You wanted to make your case for why the Memphis Express is going to take down the San Diego Fleet this week.
Which is better. I don't even understand. It's not a case to be made. We're just flat out better. Yes, we had a couple of down games, but we're better. We're just flat out better.
Well, that's a dynamite drop in there, and I appreciate coming from the Fleet side. That's a really compelling argument. But I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to be coming to Memphis. I wouldn't miss it. I've got to be there, so you can add one to your attendance. So there'll be 5 of us there, but I'll be.
I count you. The what's that? We'll have 80 some odd players, the coaching staff.
It's a full house.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be a full house. Look, I guarantee you we'll have our rowdy crowd. Yes, it's going to be a roughly 40% chance of rain, and it's probably going to be 40 degrees. But we're tough here in Memphis, so we'll just show you how tough we are when we hand you this defeat. And here's the deal: defeat the Fleet. I don't even know if that even is something that could be something that's made up, but I'm now going to own that. We will defeat the Fleet.
You know what? You guys over at FedEx have the best marketing department. You can come up with some of these great ideas on rhyming with fleet. So it's very impressive, the marketing schemes.
we do have Memphis education. That's not a mistake.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, we had an amazing tweet earlier, and I'll just relay this on, but we had an amazing tweet earlier that said the Memphis Express for when you need to be in last place overnight.
Oh boy!
We rest our case.
Yeah, I will. You know what? I will acknowledge that was good. I don't have a quick comeback for that one, but it is a marathon, not a sprint.
All right,
that is true.
All right, guys. Well, we've got some hard hitting questions here for you guys.
Right out the gate.
This is very, very important. Memphis surprised the league in week 1, I believe, with some away uniforms. You're the only team with away uniforms. And our question is, what in the literal F is up with that? Why don't we have away uniforms? Where do we file a complaint?
When Charlie and Bill founded this league, they had a special team in mind. That's why our uniform is the best, and that's why we got 2 jerseys. Mm-hmm. Simple as that.
I think it's a great example of a startup league and a startup brand being very fiscally responsible. We want to make sure that when we spend our money, we're spending it on players, we're spending it on fans. We're spending it on the things that matter. Now, some teams waste their money and, buy a bunch of jerseys, but most of us think we can make it work and everybody will figure it out if we just have one jersey. But with that in mind, I will say that I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of the teams on this line already has 2 jerseys, but the other one may have 2 coming soon. So
nice.
I'll leave you to speculate, but
yeah, but one of us is already displaying. We'll leave the speculation at that.
We're saving ours for a special occasion, like when we play a team that already has won a game.
Oh.
Hey, it was the last 3 weeks are behind us. We're hungry, and you guys are next. I'm sorry in advance.
It has a lot in common with you guys in the standings. You're behind everybody. That's how it works. I'll give Kosha credit because I have heard good things about the fans in Memphis. And I think all of us around the league, we're all very supportive of each other off the field. And so I've heard good things. I'm actually very much looking forward to coming to Memphis. It's actually one of my favorite cities. My wife and I have traveled there and enjoyed it. We've got great memories of going to Memphis and having a good time on Beale Street and Graceland and all the other great things that are in Memphis. So I can't wait to go to the Liberty Bowl. I think it's going to be a great game. We're on a roll. And, coming off of pretty high, coming off of the payback game against San Antonio, excited to go on the road and come in and get a W. But our defense is playing great. Our offense is starting to click. So I kind of feel sorry for Memphis. I think they're going to have – on the field, it's going to be tough. Their fans are going to have something to cheer for in the first quarter, but then, I think then the best team's going to come out on top. So enjoy it while you can, Memphis, in the first quarter.
We will definitely enjoy the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and the fourth quarter. And when the final score is there, all I'm going to say is you lost. And I'm sorry. I will escort you back to your private jet to get you to San Diego, but we all will know that it's going to be a pretty long plane ride back. And that's okay. I'll give you some good barbecue when you get in.
Oh, all right.
You have a speaking engagement. You do have it. Keep in mind.
I do.
Let me tell you how great this president is on the other line. Not only is he going to bring his team to Memphis to put on what I think is going to be a great game on Saturday at 3 o'clock on Bleacher, but he is also going to be a guest speaker to an audience during our pregame.
Oh.
That's how awesome he is. So I will give him credit for that.
Very gracious of you.
It is my pleasure to talk to young kids, not even kids, college or right outside of college that are looking to work in sports. I think all of us that work in sports have been there at some point when they were trying to get into the business. And so if there's some advice that I can give them or tell my story a little bit and help them sort of get to the next step, then that's fantastic. And I was so glad that you extended the invitation to do it. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, my first piece of advice is going to be move out of Tennessee somewhere else. I heard you say,
while handing out fleet
40
swag.
degrees. I'm shivering.
Being that my last home was Southern California, the 40 degrees is something I'm still getting used to. However, it's not as bad once you've been out there for 90 straight minutes. Everything is numb at that point, so you're fine.
Everything's fine. All right, guys, backtracking just a little bit back to the fiscal responsibility that Jeff was alluding to earlier, as far as spending money on fans and not on away uniforms. Some news broke last week, and the way that it broke had to be frustrating from your perspective. Obviously, I'm talking about the $250 million investment from Tom Dundon, which was broken in a very negative way. How in the world you turn a $250 million investment into a negative is beyond me. But the media, in all of their glory, went down that road. So I was just curious, from your guys' perspective, from my mind, I feel like this should have been a great moment for the AAF.
Exactly.
And it was kind of ruined by the way it was broken. What was the reaction from you guys? How did the league, the morale, how did that affect you guys?
I will go first and just, one, coincidence and conspiracy are evil cousins. And so, I don't let that get in the way. For me, I didn't see any negative in it. Everybody can have their opinion. Jeff and I kind of know what's going on. We're in the know. And I was ecstatic. We now have another board member that has some great experience in building long-lasting companies. And I, for one, am excited. I was thrilled when the news broke, and I remember that way.
Great.
Yeah, and I would add to that. It was coincidental, the timing of it, and I can certainly understand how people would make the jump or could get to the conclusions that they did. But Kosha is exactly right in that this is just a fantastic infusion of cash, of resources, of knowledge. Tom doesn't come in just by himself. He comes with a group of people that are helping him in Carolina or have helped him in some of his other businesses. So we get all the benefit of those people. And every business, as it grows, has milestone moments as it gets bigger and bigger. And this is certainly one of those milestone moments. It's going to we'll look back on in the future and say, maybe this was the difference between us exploding and becoming a wildly successful league and a stable league, and the difference in maybe not doing that. And so we were on to something. I think the bottom line is after 2 weeks with the ratings that we got and with the play on the field and the fans that were coming out and all the feedback we had gotten, that a very successful businessman looked at it and said, there's something here that I'm willing to invest $250 million into. And so I think if that's not sort of a stamp of approval, I don't know what is.
Yeah, we definitely looked at it as a positive. I mean, somebody with investing $250 million obviously sees there's going to be some type of return of investment on that.
Yeah. Yeah, we were very frustrated.
He didn't do it to lose.
Not a lot
Exactly.
of money either, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, he's taking, some bar mitzvah money or something. This is money that he's had to earn over his lifetime that he is investing in us. This is his own money. So, when you think about that and you think about somebody willing to make that investment, he's not taking that lightly. And Jeff and I get to deal with the metrics every day. We see our key performance indicators. We know how we're trending. We believe in what we're doing because we're in the suit. But when you see someone from outside come in and say, I recognize what you guys are doing, I love what you guys are doing, and I want to be a part of that, everybody's going to take it and spin it their own way to make and get some clickbait and whatnot.
Sure.
We understand what's going on. We're pretty excited about the future, and I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but we ended up coming out of this situation. This investment, this addition to the board, only strengthens what we're trying to do and what we all believe in.
That's a
Good way to put it.
Great answer. And you said something earlier. You said conspiracy and coincidence are close cousins or something along those lines. Evil cousins. Now, we've thrown out some. We have a little segment here on the show called Conspiracy Corner. And you've made your way into this segment, Kosha. And the Memphis Express podcast, Express and Goal, asked you about it. And I have to commend you for masterfully skating the question when they asked it. But I now alleviate you. I no longer believe in the XFL AAF connection that I proposed in my conspiracy corner. And I think that is because of the news and the way that it broke this week, and listening to Rick Neuheisel went as far as to actually throw a little conspiracy corner of his own, saying that Uncle Vince over there at the XFL was behind the way that this news broke. Do you have anything to say? And being a former WWE employee, can you dial up Vince and tell him to, hey, man, cut it out?
Yeah, we know you're behind this, Coach.
I'm the evil mastermind behind it. Here's what I can say about Vince. Vince is a businessman that's concerned with his own business. He is not the one to go out there and try to do sabotage. Vince flat out, and this is working for Vince in the WWE, Vince's ethos is all about he's going to come out and outwork you. There's no secret sauce to it. The man works his butt off. And so for him to, people to say that, he's trying to come out there and do some sabotaging and trying to create these stories or false narratives and whatnot, I call hogwash to that. Once again, you have one story that gets out of the line, and all of a sudden everybody wants to get clickbait. That's the new thing now. So they're going to come up with a bigger and more audacious headline that just starts to get even more and more distorted from what really happened. And so, I don't lend any credibility to it, and I hope no one else will. At the end of the day, our mission is to give our guys an opportunity to play football, and for me personally, to help my coach win a championship and to do great things for the city of Memphis. That's what we're trying to do.
Are you okay over there, Jeff? You got something stuck in your throat there?
9 opportunities to do that, and that is our goal. We remain committed. And so till somebody tells me that I am mathematically eliminated from getting our team in the playoffs, we will see possibly San Diego, seriously about it, in Las Vegas.
Well, we'll definitely be there in Vegas.
We're going.
Yes.
We'll be there for sure. Now, so Memphis, you guys had a pretty decent game last week with once Met and Bacon Cheeseburger got himself into the game.
Ooh, I like the Met show, but that's okay.
Now, so my question here is, now that Met and Bacon Cheeseburger's in as your starting quarterback, he's got to be he's obviously a fan favorite. He's the face of your social media campaign with the Met show. Is he a locker room favorite? How are the guys responding? Is Met officially the starting quarterback for Week 4?
Yeah, Met.
Yep.
Met's we're gonna go with Met. He's our guy. I'm excited about it. You know, it's we got to put points on the board, and we got to, sometimes to have drastic changes, you got to make some drastic calls. And Coach felt the need that we needed to change our quarterback and a fresh outlook, and that's where we're going with this. And so I'm excited about it. The Met show is going to go to daytime, is like what we like to say now. And he's excited, he's focused, and that's kind of what we're going to run with.
So, Jeff, now that the Memphis Express has finally mustered up some offense,
a little bit of mustard,
a little bit of mustard. Some offense. Our defense has been.
Give us a little credit.
I'm joking.
No, he did.
So our defense has been probably the class of the AAF defensively. We got DeMontre Moore, we got AJ Tarpley, we got Cam Kelly back on defense now, who broke up that Soto. I don't want to leave anyone out, but our defense is awesome. Is there anything that you want to say regarding our defense and how they match up to the new and improved Memphis Express offense?
Well, it's funny, and I'll back up a little bit on Memphis's quarterback situation, because I'm a little conflicted, actually, because I just came from working for almost 6 seasons at Penn State, right? So I was all about seeing Hack and watching him play, and I got to admit, somewhere deep in there, my Penn State roots come out, and I root for the guy. But I think just like we went through after Week 1, you need to find the best quarterback at the time. It doesn't mean they're necessarily the best quarterback or the other one's not. It's just the best quarterback at the time, and sometimes you need that change. And it worked for our offense. Obviously some time in there too, but I think Mike Bergovici's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see him back at some point. But at the time, Philip Nelson was our guy, and the offense has really kind of rallied around him. Our running game has improved. And so everybody expected the offense to be great because of Coach Martz. And they are certainly catching up and doing it very quickly. But boy, the defense got out of the gate very quickly in San Antonio, was put in some pretty bad positions on the field. And was able to hold them to a lot of field goals and was able to kind of keep us in that game. So they've only gotten better. We put pressure on the quarterback. We can get to the ball and make plays like AJ did with the pick 6 last week. We've got a few good guys roaming around the secondary. So, I mean, our defense has really just been one of those things that nobody really expected, but has just outperformed everybody's expectations. And yeah, at this point, 3 games in, I'll put them up against any defense in the league right now. I mean, they're just performing at a very high level, and has kept us in one game and won us 2 other games until our offense kind of exploded last week.
And I will say, I got the chance to watch with the film on you guys, and Soto is a beast.
Soto's a beast.
Kid can flat out play ball, man. And Garner, the running back you guys have, is a beast too. So you guys got some studs, man. And you got that 1-2 punch though.
Garner, Watson and Gardner. Watson. Yeah, he's
Watson. Yeah. Yeah, Watson and Garner, man. You guys got to go. I will say your offense. Even watching this last game here, you guys put up a well balanced offense, man, and that's kudos to you guys, specifically this early in the season when you're still trying to find that gel, and to see you guys coming into your own makes me excited, because I think, once again, as Jeff is proud of his defense, I'm just as proud of our defense as well, and what we're trying to do. DT, Dennis Thurman, our defensive coordinator, and Mike Singletary, obviously the defensive mind. They're putting some great. They're keeping us in the game, even though we've been, we're 1-3, and yes, we're winless. That defense has kept us in every game. So finally, I feel that bringing the Met show to prime time and allowing us to be able to score to balance that defense, because we're keeping our guys out there way too long. I think we are going to turn the tide, and I'm looking forward to seeing this new combination of Mettenberger running the offense and our defense playing up to the standard.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think Week 5 would be a good time to turn the tide. That'd be great.
I love it.
Well,
I don't know if it's going to happen this week. Next week, go for it.
Yeah.
We're way too hungry now. We got to. I mean, we're seeing everybody else but Atlanta. Feel the taste of victory, and so we got to get on that side of the ledger. And unfortunately, you're next.
Kosha, I got to tell you, it's a fun place to be. We had a great time on our stadium on Sunday. Our fans were into it. They were loud. I mean, even our first home game through the rain, they were loud. But we've built such an atmosphere in San Diego, and it continues to build every week. We've got, we're working on watch parties. I mean, everybody wants to see it. There's fleet gear all over the place. And it's really exciting. And so when you get there in week 5 and you get a win, hopefully, then I think you're going to enjoy it. It's everything it's cracked up to be on top of the mountain.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're going to see that mountain crumble on you guys this Saturday at 3 p.m.
I want to talk a little bit about the flex, the flex in the schedule. How did that come about? What led to that decision? We moved the game obviously from 5 p.m. to 1. Crowd during the daylight. All right. Okay. All right. Cool.
At the end of the day, we needed to. It really just came down to how we can make it fit and how we can make our TV partners make some things fit, just from a scheduling standpoint. Nothing more than that. No conspiracies or anything. And
dang it.
The Liberty Bowl is a place that we had the opportunity to shift, and Salt Lake was able to do the swap, and it ended up working out so that everybody's well. And we want to make sure that we get these guys, back in San Diego early that night, so that while they're crying themselves to sleep, they can do it in their own bed.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because, like most leagues, the future and a big part of our success and our business plan is television. It's the world we live in, and media exposure is extremely important. Getting these games out and getting people exposed to it. So one, they know what they're missing, and they can buy tickets and get to the stadiums. But two, it just exposes the brand. So TV drives game times and schedule for the most part. But now what I had heard, in addition to the TV scheduling, was that they had trouble with the light bulbs at the Liberty Bowl. They actually couldn't find any to replace. And so they kind of just gave up on it.
Because they spent all their money on away uniforms. They couldn't get replacement bulbs.
Right. See, perfect example. We have lights. We play at night, but we only have one.
We have lights, and our lumen test is 25. And I can't help that in Memphis. We want to look good. I'm sorry. It is what it is it like to say?
It is an older stadium.
Looking good is more important than playing good.
What is an older stadium?
My goodness. Play good. It just takes a little time for it to catch up.
So going back for just 1 second, the TV ratings this week were actually up over week 2. Of course, week 1 was the biggest because we were on CBS and it was national audience. But I think the audience, the television audience retention has been really good and actually increasing week over week. So that's really encouraging. And Jeff, something you said to us in our first interview was that attendance ratings, that'll come with a great product. And you weren't necessarily expecting amazing attendance in year 1. You weren't necessarily expecting amazing ratings in year 1. It's something that you're trying and you're building and you're changing and improving upon. How's it been going based on your guys' expectations so far? Where are you at? Are you happy? You sad? You mad? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think, by the way, that interview and that time we did the show in the lobby in a thunderstorm, or in the conference room in a thunderstorm, seems like a lifetime ago.
It does. It really does.
I can't even believe how fast it's going. But yeah, I mean, I think our expectations have, particularly on the TV side, I think the consumption on television has been great. The ratings continue to improve, and I think that's what we're looking for, is week over week over week, to continue to put a good product on the field, keep people's attention, and have people searching for our games. And I think that's happening. I'm kind of still in between on attendance. I'd love to have a few more people in the buildings across the country, not even just in San Diego, but would love to have a few more people. But I got to say, I'm a little mixed because the people we have are really into it. And so I'd almost kind of rather have the crowd we have that are diehards and are loud and are into the game and they've got a high football IQ than necessarily having, 40,000 suits in there that don't make a lot of noise.
Sure.
Yeah. Or they leave in the third quarter, or they show up at halftime. And so I think we're going to build, but we're building with the right group of fans. We're building with the right group of people. There's a lot of families there, just not in the end zone where you guys sit. And there's a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the expectations have exceeded what my initial expectations were. But now that we've seen it, now of course the expectations go up, right? So you're challenging, going, well, we're doing pretty good, but boy, I'd like to do better. So how do you get to the next step?
Yeah, I think it's all about bringing, sharing your experience with that one buddy who really loves football. I know everyone I've talked to at work, I've got them all coming to the next home game because I got one of my coworkers out to the last home game. He had a great time. Our end zone section, I have to shout out to the end zone section because that sucker's sold out.
Yep.
And It is loud.
Awesome.
And it is fun. And everybody there is into every single play. And we are dead at the end of the game because we have no voices and we haven't sat down. And it's just been an amazing experience front to back. I have to say, I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. So the game day experience from our perspective, and Smithy, I think you will agree, has been extremely fun. And I want to bring people so they can enjoy it with us.
Yeah. And I hope that translates across the league too.
Go ahead.
Sorry. And I hope that translates across the league too. Especially in Memphis.
I think it will.
Because it's a good product. Just as a fan of football, it's a good product.
Yeah, we're in the same boat here. Jeff made great points. And I think the biggest thing that we like to say is we want emotional fans, not transactional fans.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're building on. We have a solid foundation. Our first game was, a 5% chance to rain 3 hours out from that first game. And guess when that 5% paid off, and it ended up being about 36 degrees outside. And so we didn't necessarily get the turnout we wanted for our opening game. But that's not to say that, we didn't have a high engagement. We had a lot of people that were, planning to be there, but the weather was kind of a deterrent for them. So from an attendance standpoint, we only have really one game to go off of. And so this next game will kind of be if we grow that audience, we know we're on the right track. And I think that we are. Our forecast already has us up and, in attendance well over what we have for the first game. So we're excited about that. People are buying, people are consuming merch. We had to already do a reorder for that. We ran out of beer at one of our concession stands, which is always a great problem because that once again, people are coming in, they're consuming, and they're having a good time. So we're excited about the live event, and Jeff hit it right on the head. I am really excited about our TV and app consumption. We're the number one app in the App Store and Google Play, and so all the key performance indicators that one would look at are all going in the right direction. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, the haters, quote unquote, are going to say, well, they're not growing fast enough, or it's a fluke, or it's that. And I hate to say it, but we're 3 weeks in, and we're seeing strong trends, and we're seeing positive trends, and we're going to try to manage growing that. And I know, my brother on the phone here in San Diego works his tail off to try to get everything that he can for his team and for his game. And I hope that the other, 6 yahoos around the league that call themselves our president are doing the same thing. And that's what we're all, we get on calls and we talk a lot of crap to one another. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that every fan and every player have a positive experience every time they touch one of our fields. And every time someone tunes in, they have a positive experience watching one of our games. And this past week was one of the better weeks just because we saw some more. It's kind of like peeling an onion, right? And we joked about this a couple of days ago about our league and how the games have kind of transpired. So in that first week, you saw the big hit and whoa, it's real football. And then you saw the controversial, instant replay with the transparency of what we're trying to do. And then that second week, you saw some teams start to gel. And then in this past week, you then get to see the onside play. And so every week you see a new wrinkle of what this league is offering, which basically keeps you engaged. And so now it's all coming to fruition, and we're seeing all this hard work start to pay off. And that's what I'm excited about, and that's what keeps me motivated to do what we're trying to do.
And it seems like a lot of that is actually translating to what we fans are seeing, that enthusiasm coming from the teams from the top down, from the president all the way down to the players. I am, and I'm not saying this just to, brown nose you guys, but I'm enjoying these games much more than NFL games.
Yeah, I can back that up.
You're still paying for your tickets.
Yeah,
That's true.
Dang it, guys. Well, our plan has
All right, we're going to have
failed.
to cut this part out.
See you guys later. Thanks for joining.
Wink, wink.
But no, I can attest.
And the flip side of that is you get it for a lot cheaper.
Yes.
NFL football game
yeah.
is over $1,000 for 4 people. You come to in the Lions game, you're under $200, and that includes parking and possibly some food. So,
Yeah.
I mean, once again, at the end of the day, we are trying to make a product for every fan, and we work our tails off to make sure that our barriers to entry to see and engage with our product are at a bare minimum. And, you start talking about a $20 ticket in most cases to get into the game. That gets you in. You guys get to hang with a Rockets crowd. That's what we're trying to create here. And it's starting to pay off. People are now coming. Now you're creating those memories. I got a chance to watch you guys on TV, and I want to now come just hang out in the end zone. Granted, I might, throw a couple of elbows there. You guys are the enemy.
Well, it's kind of tight.
You guys are having a flat-out good freaking time, man, and I love watching that.
Nice.
Well, I'll extend the invitation. You are always welcome to come join us in F-19 at the USS Murph.
The shipyard.
The shipyard.
We do have one residual extra ticket, so it's all yours if you want it. And but thank you guys.
You know what though, Jeff's such a hustler though. He'll even if you give me a free ticket, he'll figure out a way to charge me for that.
So we have a thing at the USS Murph called the view level. And I've got a seat up there. It's the best view in the entire stadium. So I've got a seat for you in the view level. Remind me when you guys come.
Got your name on it, man.
Yes.
You're in the view level.
Concierge service and everything. Well, one final question.
Some people call it the upper deck, but
well, I have one final question for the both of you. And this is probably one of the most important out of all the ones we've asked tonight is score predictions for this weekend's game.
Lay them on us.
Don't be shy.
You're the home team. You get to go first.
All right. Kosha, all you.
No pressure.
I got out of business of trying to predict scores. I just say we're going to score a lot and they're going to score a little, and that is about as far as I can make it.
Okay.
All right.
Kosha, Irby, a lot to a little.
I do want to put some action on this because I am a degenerate gambler when it comes to certain things, specifically believing in my team.
Oh, things are heating up.
I did have to put on some Mickey Mouse ears because of the bet I made with Mike Waddell and the Orlando deal. So I think,
we do have two losing.
I'm kind of down for a push-up challenge here. However many points we score in the victory, the loser has to do that number of push-ups on the 50 while yelling either all aboard or let's see.
It's
Go Boats.
It's Go Boats. No, it's all hands on deck.
So that's a bet coming from somebody who's in really good shape and works out all the time. I mean, I can eat the same amount of cheeseburgers as push-ups you can do. Ooh. I'm willing to make that.
That's my kind of.
Or ribs. I'll eat some barbecue ribs. I can do that. 50 ribs, sure, no problem.
Some Memphis barbecue.
Wow. Some Memphis barbecue. It just sounds like it.
So what we're saying here is, if my team wins, you got to do the push-up challenge. And if your team wins, I got to buy you that number of ribs. Is that what we're going with here?
As long as I don't have to do push-ups, that works for me.
Make sure your team wins.
Yeah, you know what? You're sound like a man who is maybe a little nervous about the final outcome and doesn't want to predict a score. You got out of the score predicting business. I think we're looking at like a 27-9 game.
Oh,
I mean, we're going to go up pretty big.
Okay.
Our defense is insane. We just held San Antonio to 11. We scored 31. Look, I'm giving you a little bit of room there. We're not going to score as many as we did this week.
Yeah, I'm out of
Beautiful.
I can't do that many push-ups. So ribs, I can eat some ribs.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do push-ups.
So if I could recap this wager, I feel like either way it results in either Jeff receiving ribs and doing push-ups. I think that's how it ultimately somehow worked out.
No. Either way it goes, he's going to win. But if we win, what is it, 27-9? If they beat us 27-9, which I highly doubt, I'm going to go and get him 27 ribs and have him, if he's already on the flight, I will have those directly shipped to him.
Okay.
But if we score that 20 and they score 9, right out of the game, I need to get him on the field and do those 27 push-ups. I think it's a great thing.
Right after the game.
I can do them, but my knees are going to be on the ground. I'm going to do some girl
Knee
push-ups.
push-ups. Hey, that's okay. Nothing wrong with girl push-ups.
No.
That would be so awesome.
Anything over 10 and I'm out.
I think about push-ups and I'm winded.
Anything to create that content, bro.
All right.
I'm all over it. Good thing I don't have to worry about it.
How about if we lose and you do not? So Smithy and I will join in on this with you. If San Diego goes down, okay, you do as many push-ups as you can do, Jeff, and whatever you don't do, we'll pick up the slack on video and post it.
Roger that.
I can do that one. That's less embarrassing.
All right.
I now understand why you guys are all hands on deck. I love it. That is cool. I love it.
We do try to look out for each other.
We do. It's a big family down here in San Diego. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. Go ahead, Kosha. Sorry.
Now, I was gonna say though, when it comes to uniform challenges, I will say I do like our uniform the best. But my second favorite is the San Diego Fleet. I think it's a wicked. I love everything about it. So, if I have to give you one compliment outside of the fact I think you guys are playing some good football right now, I will say your jerseys are pretty wicked.
Well, thank you.
Hey, we appreciate that. Yeah. Look at that. And since we're doing the soft and gentler side, I've got to say, in the 6 months or so that I've been employed by the league, I mean, Kosha's been around for like 5 years already, but I've been here since September. And I got to say what I've learned from Kosha and from the other presidents and working in this league has really been great. I mean, it's such a great group of people that are so dedicated to what they're doing and so passionate about it. And the passion comes from, it's giving the players an opportunity. It's giving the fans an opportunity to see the games and be a part of it and interact with it a little bit more. It's being just being a small part of football and being involved in it. And so it's just been such an honor to be a part of this whole thing and put it together. And it's been such a great group of people that, I mean, I couldn't be happier with where we are and what we've done and what we're going to do in the future. And more importantly, and most importantly, is the group of people that we're doing it with. I mean, it's really just been really awesome for me. So thanks, Kosha. And that's the last time I'm being nice to you. That's it.
Same here, brother. It's going to be no hands on deck after this this is over. Just FYI.
Hey,
all right.
We'll be friends to the end. I will, and I also put it this way too. I don't get a chance to. We talk to the podcast all the time, and Express and Go. Obviously, I love those guys, but I appreciate what you guys are doing because here's the deal: we were a startup. And we were kind of pure alchemy where we didn't have footballs and shoulder pads and players and coaches and all of that stuff. All we had was just kind of a vision and some hope. And it was guys like you that jumped in and started to bring a product. And you guys you would never get enough credit for what you guys are doing to bring some validity for us because nobody wants to keep hearing from me and Jeff all the time or our coaches all the time. They really want to hear from people that look like them and have passion like them. And, what you guys have done, what Express Gold has done, what the guys in Atlanta are trying to do, it's guys like you, candidly, we could put our 52-guy rosters and our big-name head coaches and our great technology out there. But it's going to be guys like you all that make this thing work. And so, and I'm speaking to everybody who's even listening to this podcast, thank you sincerely, because without you, whatever we do, it just goes into a black hole. So we appreciate it. I love what you guys are doing. I love you two for putting this together. And thank you. Unfortunately, we're going to hand you guys your defeat, but I will still love you afterwards.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, that was really nice to hear that. It's, I was going to say something along the lines of, we're just excited fans.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've been able to interact, like the fact that we're talking to two presidents of two professional football teams right now blows our mind every time we get to do it. Sometimes people get mistaken and they think that we're actually part of the team, but we're not. We're just the voice of the fan, and we try to make that voice heard, and we try to get more voices on the choir and more
butts in the seats.
More butts in the seats, and that's it's a selfish initiative for us because we want great football and we want great fans and we want to just spread the word, and we're appreciative that it's here for us to do it. So thank you guys for starting it up, and thank you for all the support that you've shown, not just us but all the podcasts. I know I can speak for us all when I say we're pretty blown away. And that's what keeps us coming back. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming on the show. And I don't know what else to say. It's been really fun.
And go Fleet.
Well, Jeff,
Go Boats.
I
Go
will
Fleet.
close with this, Jeff. I know you'll be in Vegas, and I will loan you $5 or $20 while you're there playing the slots and we're playing. So I will be gracious enough to give you that cash and spot you while you're there.
Yeah, I probably will need it. I might have to pay my own way there. So, that would be that'll be nice. But yeah, we'll definitely be in Vegas. Hopefully, we see you there. But without a win against us, you might be mathematically eliminated. Actually, you got 2 weeks left, maybe, and you might be out. So, I wish the best for you.
Back to here, right back to where we started. The niceties don't last long here.
It's a lot of peaks and valleys here.
All right, thank you guys once
I
again.
really appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for sure. Thank you. Thank you for joining the show. Jeff, thanks once again. Give us a Go Boats. Give us a Go Boats for posterity.
Just Go Boats. Just one.
One Go Boats. Come on, Jeff.
What kind do you want? A Go Bud?
Go Boats.
Go Boats.
Go Boats. I gotta say,
All right,
it's
thank you.
growing
Yes.
on me.
Yes.
I like it at first, but it is kind of growing on me. Go Boats.
There we go. Thank you.
No. All right. Thanks again, you guys. Really appreciate it. Kosha, best of luck with
But not too much luck.
Yeah, I was gonna say best of luck handling yourself emotionally after you receive the beatdown that we are going to deliver this weekend.
Slight unintentional pause.
3-on-1 fast. That's okay.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right.
Thanks so much. All right, Smithy, that's going to just about wrap it up for this here episode of The Shipyard. I know. Oh, bummer. Now, we were planning on a watch party. I don't know for sure if that's actually happening.
Okay.
Stay tuned on the Twitter, on the Instagram, on the Facebook, and we will let you know the details if that is happening. In the meantime, I do believe another watch party exists at Second Chance Brewing, who is announced as an official brewing partner for the fleet
Congrats.
this week. So if you're dying for something, go check out that watch party. If you really want to hang out with us, not sure why, but maybe you would. Maybe we'll get something going. We will try. That will be at Rookies. It all depends on the schedule now that the game was flexed. Kind of boned us and ruined my day. Thanks, Memphis. Thanks a lot.
You should have won something the previous 3 weeks.
And with that said, Smith, we've got a little bit of outro music to cue up here.
All right.
I'm doing it. It's cued.
You cued it quite well.
Oh,
there it is.
It's beautiful. I love it.
It is.
Smithy,
Yes.
I have to say your beard is looking pretty good today.
Thank you.
You've been hitting the old beardclub.com?
I have.
Well, sir, it shows.
It feels like it, too.
Head on over to thebeardclub.com. Get yourself some quality beard care products. Put them on your face. You are not going to regret it.
No, because you know what? There's no sense in having any space on your face.
Doesn't make any kind of sense. Smithy,
What?
we are the boys at the yard, my friend. Our milkshakes are undoubtedly better than the Commanders.
You so damn right they are.
We proved it this week, baby.
31.
Some might say
11.
the series is 1-1. And that would be accurate. That's true.
They're not technically wrong.
No, that's entirely accurate. The series is tied up 1-1.
Yeah.
End of show.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Always good to end on a fact.
exactly. So, see ya.
Oh, there we are. That doesn't look like Hodad's.
No, not Hodad's this time around.
That looks like somebody's mom's basement.
That is accurate.
That'd be a good guess.
That is accurate. All right, so hang on a second. Apparently, I could not call. I think I have to add $5 to my Skype real quick. 1 second. Sorry. This podcast is costing me a fortune.